everything that is in the world was someone's dream at some point, and that the idea of the way that the world runs every day was a dream of someone's. What's up, everyone, and welcome to your daily dose, where we develop ourselves every day. Today, we're going to go over one of the books that we have mentioned in our podcast called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a great book to get your to start a personal development journey. You know, I chose this book because even though I've read it years ago, it still helps me get through my day and with decisions that I make every day. After the video, if you're interested in purchasing the book, I added the link below in the descriptions. Let's start with chapter 1, which is called The Domestication and the Dream of the Planet. Don Miguel says, "We are dreaming 24 hours in the day. We are dreaming when we are awake and when we are asleep. Except when we dream while we are awake, we dream in a linear way. But when we dream when we are asleep, we don't have that tendency, and it can change." So let's break that down. When he's talking about dreaming in a linear way, he's talking about our everyday life when we're awake. So dreaming in a linear way means that we dream in a series of steps. So depending on what you believe, there are certain things that you believe have to happen, and some things are just not possible. And when we dream while we're asleep, we don't have that framework. We actually have the ability to dream some of the wildest and craziest things. This is important to understand because it's going to help you with the rest of the chapter. So the humans before me, you, your parents, your grandparents' parents, and the people before them created this big outside dream that Don Miguel calls the society's dream, or the dream of the planet. He says, "The dream of the planet is a collective dream of billions of smaller personal dreams, which together create a dream of a family, dream of a community, dream of a city, dream of a country, and finally a dream of humanity. The dream of the planet includes all of society's rules, its beliefs, its laws, its religions, its different cultures and its ways to be, its government, its schools, social events, and holidays. Basically, that everything that is in the world was someone's dream at some point, and that the idea of the way that the world runs every day was a dream of someone's. That's why we dream in a linear way when we're awake. We learn how to behave in society, what to believe and what not to believe, what is good and what is bad, what is beautiful and what is ugly. Most of the things that you've learned was not something that we decided on. It was things we just picked up on. We were told that this is how it has to be, and we agreed, or we didn't question it. You know, think about it. Even one of the simplest things, like your name, or my name, or whoever's name, but our name is not something that we picked up on, but we identify with it. So Don Miguel calls this an agreement. He says we didn't have the option to choose these things, but that we agree with the information that was passed down to us from the dream of the planet via other humans. The only way to store information is by agreement. As soon as we agree, we believe it, and this is called faith. To have faith is to believe unconditionally. Now, you're probably thinking that you wouldn't agree to just anything, or wondering, when did you agree to the beliefs that you have now? You know, it happened during what Don Miguel calls the domestication of humans. This process lets the outside dream control the inside dream. It controls what we believe and how we live. He says, "Children are domesticated just like we domesticate animals, with a system of punishment and reward. As kids, we want the attention from our parents because that is our reward. We want our parents to tell us that we did a good job. We do our best to not get in trouble because we know that if we don't, we will get the reward. We start to do things that makes others happy to get the reward. We start acting how others want us to act to get the reward. By doing this, we get further and further from who we actually are." That is insane. This domestication process is so strong that all of these things become subconscious to us. That when we grow older, we don't need anyone to domesticate us. We just do it habitually. We have developed a belief system, and we made our punishment or reward on that. We punish or reward ourselves based on the things we believe in. Don Miguel calls the belief system a book of law. Everything that is in the book of law is our truth, and no one can tell us otherwise. Every agreement you make goes into the book of law. We base all of our judgments based on our book of law, even if they go against our true self. Because we judge everything based on our book of law, whenever we start to do something that goes against it, we feel guilty. And we also build that victim mentality. We start to judge ourselves and say things like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not good looking, or I'm not smart, or I'm not able to do that. This is all based on a belief system that we did not choose. It was given to us from someone else. So if you're ever feeling some negative way about yourself, it's probably because at some point in your life, someone said something to you and you believed it enough to agree with it, so it was added to your book of law. Remember, things can only be added to the book of law if you make an agreement with it. You ever see someone do something and you tell them about it and they just say, this is just the way I am? And if you ask them why, they won't know unless they dig deep and really try and see where it stems from. Doing this is not easy because you're gonna go against the book of law, and it takes a lot of courage. You're gonna go against what you believed in for many years, and healing from the past is not an easy thing. Just like laws in society, when you go against them, there's a punishment from the judge. Only with our book of law, when we go against them, we are the judge, and we punish ourselves. We're constantly in judgment of ourselves, and if we're not judging ourselves, we're judging others, which is a mirror of our own insecurities. It's really hard not to be in this cycle because the world is constantly in this cycle. I mean, just look at the news. Certain agendas are always being pushed on us, and some people agree with them and some people don't. Each group judging the other and both looking for justice. We are all searching for justice and the truth, except it's hard to find because we're all blinded by the lies we have in us from our own book of law. And that, ladies and gentlemen, sums up chapter 1. After reading this book, I asked myself these 3 questions that I think can also help you. Number 1, what are some beliefs that I have that don't align with my goals? Number 2, what are some negative thoughts I have about myself and where do they stem from? And number 3, what's the solution? I encourage you to also answer these questions. You might mess around and, grow from them. I also encourage you to purchase the book and follow along with me. Make sure to subscribe because I will be going over the other chapters as well. Peace. It's important to understand because it's going to help you understand. This is important to understand because it's going to help you with the rest of the chapter. So Don Miguel says that
have you ever had a dream that What the fuck are you talking about?
This domestication process is so strong that all of these things become so. This domestication